Welcome to the Coliving with PadSplit Podcast, where we talk to successful PadSplit investors and have them share their secrets to success, not only in PadSplit, but in other facets of real estate. This podcast will help you expedite your learning to be a successful investor in the co-living space. We are your hosts, Ray and Orianna Nunez. Show us some love by subscribing and sharing so we can continue to bring on amazing guests.
Hello, and welcome to the Coliving with PadSplit Podcast. I'm your host, Ray.
This is Orianna.
And we have today Trevin Perez, good buddy of ours and known for a bunch of years. He's in real estate investing. He's early in his PadSplit journey, but super experienced because he's very hands-on. So we're super excited to talk to him. A lot of the topics we're going to talk about, how he got into real estate, whether it's through retail, selling properties, and then getting into investments, and how he's progressed in the process. We definitely have a lot of fun in this interview, so stay tuned and enjoy the episode. Bro, welcome.
Thank you.
Trevin, you're here.
Finally.
Took
the restraining order off.
I finally lifted it. I don't
Yes.
feel threatened anymore.
Let's start with you giving us some background on your real estate career.
Okay. So I started in 2017 when I got my license.
Why did you get your license?
Was it to do retail or
Great
was it investment?
question. You know, I got my license mainly because of life changes. Yeah. Going through a divorce, got laid off from my corporate job, and I just bought a house in Avalon Park. And my realtor's like, you should join real estate. And I'm like, nah, you guys don't make
recruiting?
any money. Yeah. But I'm like, you guys don't make any money. So I go to his office. We start talking numbers. I was like, oh, this is a good career, right?
Numbers look good.
Yeah. And I used to travel for a living around all of the United States and Canada. So I was like, all right, let's see, how hard can this be? This should be easy.
What were you doing before?
I sold software.
Okay.
Yeah, enterprise level software to big corporate companies. So you know, life changes happen. I had a mortgage to pay, child support, you know, new life.
Yeah.
So got my license and in 2017, late 2017, and was like, all right, where do we go now? So the initial thought was retail. That's all I knew. Right.
Traditional route.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what brought me in, and that's when I rudely awoke to the reality that real estate is not easy.
Right.
And your friends and family are usually going to be the ones who least likely use you.
Yep.
That's such a hard reality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because they teach you the opposite. They say when you start something,
Like-
especially in real estate, you tell your sphere of influence,
Exactly.
hey,
People around you.
I do retail. I do retail. And sometimes they might not be your biggest help in the process.
Right.
Mm.
Right, exactly. So that was the start. And 2018, so I joined La Rosa Realty. And I think like we discussed off camera, in 2018, I stopped over by Stonebridge, and that's when I met you guys.
So Trevin and us go way back,
Way back.
which is
Way
a
back in
beautiful coincidence that, you know, we reconnected and we're here today.
We are. Thank you for the reconnection.
Of course. Thanks for the trust.
Yes. It was a big leap of faith.
It was the phone call. Hey, Ray, don't screw me.
Yes.
Tell me the truth.
Oh my God. Mind you, he said that he reached out to me on IG. I didn't respond fast enough.
Did he?
So he connected to Giselle first. I was like, really?
I mean, that's what you do. You go around.
And I'm seeing all this Facebook. I mean, we fast forwarded, right? We skipped.
Wait, no, hold on.
years.
So you went into Stonebridge and then you were maybe looking into doing some real estate investing?
Yes.
Is that what happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So Stonebridge days, you know, learning the bandit signs and
Wholesale.
all that fun stuff. You know, putting 50 to 100 signs down every day
Remember
or
it.
at night.
It's a hustle.
I was a driving partner.
Ooh.
Yes. And Ray gave me my first couple of crack houses that we went to. We were selling to investors with squatters in there. Yeah, those were the special days. So we did that, and I was there not long, maybe 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my friend Giselle and I joined at the same time. I left. I went back to traditional real estate. The shady houses, boarded up, and dealing with squatters was a little bit much for me.
You didn't miss those.
No, I didn't have it in me. Ray just had the greatest temperament in dealing with those people. You know, the investors and the squatters.
It takes patience, bro.
You really had it. You had it. I was like, wow,
The
you got the
investors and the
skills.
squatters.
I didn't learn that skill too well.
King of the crack houses, apparently.
But how long were you guys at Stonebridge?
We kind of got acquired into it.
Like 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then before we got acquired, we were with that other brokerage 2 years.
And then we left in 2019.
No, 20.
Going into 20.
Okay.
Oh.
So technically it was New
Okay.
Year's 2020. We're like, hey, 2020 vision. It's going to be a great year.
Everybody 2020 vision.
That's true.
And COVID. Surprise.
Right?
Here's your vision.
Isolation.
But yeah, that was kind of the end of that one. And then we kind of got burnt out from wholesaling.
We didn't want to wholesale one thing.
Wow. Okay.
Nothing.
So when I met you guys, yeah, you had a lot of deep experience in wholesale.
Mm.
Okay. And that was like my beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So what got you into investment? What type of investment you did first?
So you did really good in traditional real estate.
So I actually, the beginning of traditional real estate was tough. It was tough. I think that I found my niche on investing from the standpoint of using my retirement assets to aid my my experience. Finding investors and trying to show them a good deal was always difficult. Even today, I find that the best deals are the ones I fall in love with. And if I can't sell it, I'll keep it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the advantage of being a realtor. You get firsthand
Right.
on a lot of those opportunities.
Exactly.
And when you're so into it, you get the pocket deals. You get, those off-market referrals that nobody knows about. And those are the great opportunities.
Exactly.
So you wanted to keep them all.
If I could, right?
Yes.
Right? You should definitely try it. So yeah, so I went back to La Rosa and connected with a few people. We formed a little team that we all joined. Giselle joined us later, and did my first flip in DeLand. And what I found was it's not as easy as everybody say. One. Number two, I found that it's not a quick exit, but the exit is always very positive as long as you can weather out the storm, because there's always a storm, right? So every deal, that first deal was very profitable, and just started the pages folding of, okay, what's next? And learning how to leverage 401ks or IRAs and
So powerful.
utilizing the assets you have available.
It's an underutilized skill, FYI. Like so much so that there's obviously people selling courses and educating people on that. And that's something that I don't utilize. Orianna doesn't utilize. It's a good skill.
Yeah. I think that anything involving the IRS and the government is always a scary thing to venture on. It's one thing to risk losing cash flow on a deal, but it's another when you have tax implications that are bigger than just a capital gains at the end of the day.
So you did some transactions, some flips. How many flips did you get to before you actually held something?
Long term, like a rental.
Yeah. Did you ever get to like hold long term, or did you end up doing short term rental, or was PadSplit your first?
But how did you hear about PadSplit? I want to know this one.
That's the story that I flipped into really quickly.
Okay,
Early
sorry.
on in this conversation. I was about to say phone call.
I think I hit you up. I'm trying to remember. I think
So
I
it was on
hit you up
Instagram.
as an
So you
agent.
were trying to reach out to your network.
Yeah, like
Okay.
the friends that's supposed to support you. Full circle joke. But I reached out and then I saw you doing transactions. I'm like, Trevin, what's up? And I haven't reached out to everyone in Stonebridge. So that's not the case. It was really, Giselle might have been one of the earlier ones that I reached out to. And then it was you. And you left me on either read or unread or something, but you didn't respond. And then we've kind of pseudo collaborated with Giselle, you know, some networking events, but nothing really came out of that. But then I don't know if you hit me back up
On Instagram.
Yeah.
And then I learned about PadSplit. I saw a DM on Instagram, and I was like, oh, Ray, wait, he's with this company. What is he doing? I saw Giselle, and of course I was like, all right, these guys, they came to me second.
But not really.
Giselle was always better a little bit. No.
She's always hustling, and she really mastered the wholesale game for herself.
She's awesome.
a G.
Yep.
she's a G.
I definitely don't call her Giselle. It's always G.
Yep. G Money.
Yep.
G Money. That's my girl. She's from the Bronx as well.
Yep.
She's a G.
But Poughkeepsie as well.
Is she?
Yeah, she's from
I didn't know that.
Beacon.
I didn't know that. I would have stopped being her friend. if I knew
Fishkill.
that.
She's from Fishkill.
You're like, can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're too north.
Yeah, that is too north.
So your PadSplit, you jumped into then PadSplit at that point. Tell me, what were you thinking? What was your mindset as a new potential host? What information, where were you trying to pull stuff from? Because we're all there. I work for PadSplit. I still work for PadSplit. And it took me a little bit to get into investing. I didn't get into it until I realized I'm making these people money.
Like for us, I'll share briefly. I was really into Airbnbs.
Mm.
It's a sexy investment. Hello. You get a house. You get to use it during summer. Bring your friends, bring your family, and then you get some cash flow. Why not, right? So we were talking about investing, and I was like, Airbnb. And he's like, eh.
Well, we would look at houses, and when we walk it, she'd be like, wedding venue. And I'm like, 15 rooms.
And then he's at PadSplit, so his brain is like, operating differently. And he's like, not Airbnb. And then he started showing me the returns to numbers. And he's like, what are we doing? It's in front of our faces. We're pivoting. And then we forgot about the shiny object. And then we went full into PadSplit.
And when was the first one you purchased?
2022
That was like
in July?
Like June, July. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's
In
awesome.
Jacksonville?
I wish someone contacted me sooner because I had acquisitions that I've held as rentals, I've sold,
Really?
and I would have easily added them to the portfolio.
Well, you might say that today, but maybe 2 years ago you were not ready to pull the trigger like that.
Well, here's what's interesting, though. If we had a timeline of actually when I reconnected with Ray, after he reached out to me, allegedly.
Yeah. There's proof somewhere.
Somewhere there's proof. We should have located that proof detail.
Oh,
but it was last year.
There's no receipts.
I know. There's no receipts. There's somewhere on a DM somewhere. Yeah. But from that point, it was perfect timing because I just sold a couple of properties, and I was looking in Lakeland with a buddy of mine who's now a partner on a new deal. We're wrapping it up. We'll have it on the platform soon. And him and his partner said no to my offer, so we got into a little negotiating battle, and he wasn't happy with my offer. And so I was like, I'm gonna find a house in Lakeland, and I'm gonna make this a PadSplit. And boom, I ran into the right house, and we closed in May of last year.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I feel like 2-3 years ago when you started having a conversation about PadSplit with investors, even investors that are progressive and, forward thinkers, might have been a little bit of an edgy, like too edgy. like for us, it didn't take us a while, but kind of being in like one of those starters can feel a little scary, but it's so rewarding. And
I agree.
we wouldn't do it any other way.
You know, I think it took a little bit. It was education, but it
Right.
was also guinea pigging. Instead of starting with the first one, because we kind of rushed through and got a few, our guinea pig were, I kind of hate to say this, but some of our investors. So, and it was before you. So before you even had a pad split, I had
Sure.
a few. So at that point, I was telling you something that was from experience. But when you first started to market, no matter how much wholesale deals we did, how many investment deals we did prior, nothing's going to really get you to be able to teach you pad split unless you do it yourself. Like as much as they train you and teach you and you learn from experience, when you actually have your pad split, that's one of the things I admire about you is that you got into the trenches and you are in the trenches and you learned a lot of stuff throughout the way. Bunch of phone calls with me. I'm sure you talked to Jack a handful of times. You also went on some of the support and teach-ins that they do with the general management team. I don't know if Andrew kind of does a few. Q might have done a couple. And then you communicate with Atticus a little bit through either social media or because he's responsive.
Yes, he is. And on those host calls.
Yep.
Available.
Yeah. I talked
Very
to
available.
him for the first time last month. I asked a question and he's like, oh, okay, Trevin. Did I say that right? I said, yeah, Trevin. And you're Atticus? Like, what? Jedi? You know, it was cute. But he's like, every question is super smart. And he's like, he's witty. He really takes the time to thoroughly review what you're saying. And he always like calms me down when I'm dealing with the stresses of PadSplit.
On the ledge.
Yes.
He's like, breathe.
Yes.
Gonna be okay.
Yes. He's like, I know they're late, but. And then he gives his story about that one member who's
the thousands of dollars of fees.
$10,000 in late fees. It's like, what?
Extra money.
I know.
I know. I hate it though. I don't
I
want
do
your extra money. I just
too.
want you to pay on time.
I agree with you.
Right. Like, don't do it to yourself. But wait, share with us about the trenches. Like, let's get deep into
Yeah,
it.
so
let's talk about it.
Let's talk about
Yeah, so you
Just-
acquired the property, I remember. We were back and forth. You were designing it. What went through in your design? What went through in some of your logic? What went through as you went on that onboarding experience?
And it was originally a what?
It was originally a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,000 square foot.
It's big. It's a big one.
Yes.
And you end up with?
Where today
Original. Because I know you added. But
Yes. So the first phase of it was a 9-bedroom, 3-bath. Today we just did an update. We're at 11 bedrooms now, 3 baths. Toward the end of the year, we'll likely add a 4th bathroom.
Oh, beautiful. Upstairs.
Yep.
And the 2 rooms you added were upstairs. The long.
Yep. That long corridor that was open. A lot of the members were like, "Oh, we need a play area and stuff." I'm like,
Really?
"No." Somebody put a TV in there. I was like, "You got to move that. The owners are gonna get mad."
You're gonna.
You got to move that. Cuidado.
I'm not going to say anything, but I'm going to
Right?
say something.
Yeah, and there's like a balcony over in that area, so people just hang out there, go outside on the balcony and smoke and talk, hang out. And I'm like,
So
all right,
they get along.
they, to a degree, yes. So this is my dysfunctional family. Okay, yeah, right. You love some family members, not
You
so much
tolerate
some,
others.
right? And this is my extended family.
So I like what you did at the property. You did use some of your learnings and labeling cabinets, putting posters all over the place. I feel like definitely the concepts were all there in place.
Yep.
I'm curious to see your next property that you're doing in Polk County. I believe it's the next one. But what went into your education? What did you do as a host that was looking for information? Like, what was your process? if you could dig a little bit.
Yeah. Let's dig into it. So I think that, I used all the tools that you guys make available, right? You have a bunch of checklists for hosts to follow. I printed all of those out and just kind of made sure from the house prep to every room has to have a smoke detector or 2 forms of egress. Just the locking mechanisms. The locking mechanisms per room and doors, I went through 3 or 4 iterations.
Are you doing punch code or are you doing Wi-Fi?
Well, I started with punch code, the standard, lock manufacturer. It was easiest, I thought, because initially the Wi-Fi products, if they require a bridge, that was a no-no. And then just to have the Wi-Fi signal go throughout the house equally, equitably was a challenge. One of my members has 3 or 4 pianos, a mixer, 3 computers, multiple cameras.
Oh, crap. They take over the whole
Yeah.
internet.
He even hardwired into the internet.
Makes sense.
So I was like, oh. So some of that was a challenge. The locking system was the biggest challenge. Like I said, three iterations of buying 9 locks and then trying to sell a bunch on Facebook Marketplace in the PadSplit group. There was a gentleman in Atlanta who picked up a bunch of them from me. So thank you. It was awesome. I mean,
that's how you network.
It was wholesale pricing, but better than losing completely.
Of course.
And the second set, luckily, Amazon took them all back because, locks are very expensive.
They are.
They're a minimum of $100. So the third set was the charm. I have them in the new house we just did. I got 9 doors there. So going back to the checklist, right? There's a lot of details that get missed. I have a septic system at the house. And it was easy to, decide, okay, do I buy supplies like toilet paper and stuff just to make sure people put what's proper in the system? So I just have signs everywhere around the house. I opted to supply initially because that's one of the PadSplit's rules. Supply, all of that initial, material.
Do you continue to supply out of curiosity?
Is that a requirement?
No, it's not. No, it's not a. It's not a gotcha. It's not a gotcha.
Yeah,
but
who's listening?
Atticus?
I'm asking because I get people. He's gonna come out of somewhere.
Is he in a closet?
I got people who ask like, "Hey, what do you continue to supply?" And I'm like, "Well, that depends on you, and that depends on how you want to manage your property." Do you supply continually? And if you do, how frequent?
And what do you supply?
And then if you don't, then what's the condition of your house, and have you noticed, what's the cleanliness?
Yeah. So initially, for at least 3 to 6 months, I had paper towel, toilet tissue, utensils like plastic forks and knives, even plastic plates. I had plastic regular plates that I would put in the cabinets, and even the stickers you see with the labels. The tenant who has all of the Wi-Fi equipment decided to take the labels down. Yeah, he said it looked like a prison. I was like, oh. And then he put all of his kitchen supply in the house. So I was like, why would you do that? So needless to say, I did that for 3 to 6 months. And then afterwards I said, no more, because people inherently just take advantage and abuse the supply, right? So enough was enough. We stopped that. And now to this day, I'll still supply like garbage bags.
Okay.
I can get a big box of 100 for $20 on Amazon. So I'll supply that, keep that in my storage space, which is the garage. And on occasion, I'll buy other stuff. But it depends on the people in the house. I just find that the people in the house they can make or break you. Yep. So for example, we did have a system for people keeping the house clean. We had a rotation on a schedule. Okay, this week it's Ray's turn. Okay, next week it's Orianna's turn. The following week is Trevin's turn, and defined what cleaning you need to do. But, there was a lot of fights and battles about that. It was like, okay, this isn't working. And then quarterly, I had someone come in and clean just to help put eyes on the house. The other benefit of having the punch lock system was it forced me to go to the house.
Right.
Because I had to change the door code every time the room turned over. So that became time consuming.
Right.
I'm in Orlando. It was just a big hike just to change a door code.
And you're the furthest out part of Orlando to where your property is located. So
yeah.
Yeah, no, I could only imagine. And did you notice your cleanliness in your house dip at all after you stopped supplying product? Or is it about the same?
It's about the same. I had it's weird. I had a higher ratio of men to women, and I just think that the men didn't care that, the restroom was really messy and dirty. It was, maybe some of the cleaner gentlemen, or usually the ladies, who would feel frustrated, and try to pick up the slack. So that was a challenge. So the supplies didn't really play a very major part in the process at all. I just think it was just a cost, and it was like, this isn't helping with member satisfaction or improving relationships. And at the time when I started the 9 bedrooms, we didn't have TVs in all the rooms. We added those later.
Did you notice if that helped increase the occupancy at the property? Did you increase the weekly rate to adjust for the TV?
No. I found that, initially when we started, the first move-in took maybe 35 days. So it was a little scary. It was like, all right, I'm jumping in this both feet. And
Ray, what's happening?
Yeah. I'm like, Ray, you're not answering my calls. You're not answering my calls.
It wasn't a DM. It was just
this is like a text message. This is how the restraining order started.
See how that joke came back again?
Yeah, you see, full circle. It's true, guys. It's true. And then I got on a team text with both Orianna and Ray, and they both ignored me.
Do you have accountability partners within the PadSplit world?
So I mean, just the initial. So I agree with you that the onset of the process is hard, especially being new to it and committing, and then you're spending all this money. And you're like, okay, is this gonna work?
Right.
So yeah, my first member jumped on board 30 days later, and then it seemed like the house filled up fairly quickly. It was a more consistent growth.
Pretty steady.
Yeah, yeah. And that first member invited someone else that I helped bring on board, and I felt those two gentlemen were just became my problem children. Yeah, and being the property manager was just a bit more challenging. So learning how to use PadSplit's tools, right? So we'll go into that a little bit. I love the group texting. I like the review system. The review system isn't as effective as I thought it would be initially.
Between the members.
Yeah, well, between
host and member.
Host and members. Okay.
Yeah, from a property management perspective, because then the person would comment and say, "Hey, what's up with that review?" or "What's this?" or "What's that?" and yeah, it just became confrontational. And then it was like, you remember Survivor, the TV show?
Yep. Of course.
So I'd be like, okay, people will call me and complain about something. I'm like, give a bad review. Do a review.
Room number 7.
Yes, yeah.
Leave a 1. I didn't say anything. Walk away.
Yeah. And then that person will confront me. Oh my gosh, I got this bad review. And I'm like, hey, let me help you. What's going on? And so it was a lot of counseling going back and forth. It worked sometimes, and with those two members, it did not. It did not. And I think what it did is it effectively forced them to stay in the house.
Oh.
Yeah.
How come?
Because of their bad reviews. No other host would take them.
Right.
So I was like, so at that point, I was like, okay, I can't use these reviews anymore like that.
Yeah.
So that was the interesting part. So unfortunately, those two members left. Fortunately and unfortunately, because they left me consolation prize
Huh.
of some payments.
Yeah.
But it's way better not having them there, because there was potential for confrontation.
Call it cost of doing business.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. I learned a bunch of lessons from those two, and didn't want to keep that level of energy in the house. It was really affecting the flow.
One bad apple can truly
It really
change the dynamic for the rest of the people that get along.
It really could. It really could. Yeah. Yeah. One of the members with all the technology, he said, you need to make sure there's only women and gays here. That's how you make sure the house is smooth. I was like, oh.
And he was a male?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that the guy who walks around the neighborhood? I can't. There was one guy that when we were at the property,
He was walking into the house.
yeah,
Very nice guy.
Was he
white.
hard of hearing? Yeah, he's white. Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
Yeah. Really loud steps.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
was a
came in
nice
like
guy.
the tail end of it. Were the two bad apples there when around the
Yes.
time that we were?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Room 3 and 4.
Okay.
Yep. Holla at your boy.
I wanted to ask you something that you mentioned previously, and I'm sure this is a question that a lot of investors have. Septic tank with 9 rooms.
Yeah.
Well,
How
now
does-
11, right?
Soon to be.
Soon to be.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 are
Like
available.
I feel like there is a significant like fear of purchasing a septic home,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you're going to have so many human bodies. So how do you manage that so far?
No, great question. I've had the experience of replacing septic tanks and drain fields in the past in
Okay.
other investment properties.
Got it.
So I had some experience with that, knowing how to deal with it. So I made sure that, when the team acquired this property, we wanted to make sure that we had a cleaning, we had inspected the lifespan of the tank,
Okay.
and the drain field was newer. So we were like, all right, this is safe. Let's just do occasional, check-ins and whatever maintenance we can do to keep the system moving smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really the key. Those systems last 20, 30 years or more. They're going to be around longer than we are if you're taking care of them. So it's just doing some maintenance.
Some extra maintenance.
Yeah.
'Cause some people are like honestly completely terrified of buying those, like a home that comes with those
Yeah, I don't think you should.
systems.
Yeah.
You think you shouldn't? We have a property that's septic tank. We haven't had any issues, and we just check on it regularly.
Right.
That's kind of how we go about it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
So
think
it's not
an
a
issue.
don't do it. It's if so, make sure that you're
Know what you're
Right.
getting
Right.
into.
regularly cleaning it more.
Yeah, yearly, you just check it, and they could tell you, I don't know how they do that, to tell you how much is in there.
Stick a hand in there, no.
A long stick. It's
Great.
deep.
How did your process of looking for a pad split change between your first and your second? Like, are you still looking for the same type of property? Or are you looking at the same type of room count?
Yeah, that's a great question. The one in Polk County you referenced, my partner found
Auburndale? I think
Arbondale.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's posted and it has a lot of reviews, or at least the notifications.
Yep.
So I'm kind of excited about that. He found that one. That one was a 3-1. So I was like, ooh, I don't like this.
4-room max.
I would have also been like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wasn't in love with it.
Mm-hmm. What changed?
It's 3,000 square foot.
No, no, I know, right? I think it's like 1,200 square feet.
Okay.
But the price point he got it at, the negotiation just worked out between us, especially since we had an effort to buy something previously that fell apart, and it was inspired by him that I got this one. So I was like, all right, let's see where we go on this property, and it worked out. We turned it into a 6-2.
Lovely.
Yeah. So the rehab cost is higher than I ideally want.
Of course. You're creating a bathroom.
Yep.
That's probably the most costly part.
Exactly. And it's septic,
Okay.
Again.
Another one.
right? But I think the footprint is wonderful. Like, it just rings a similar vibe like this first one that I have, close to shopping, a lot of foot traffic potential,
Love it.
for people who need an apartment to rent and can't afford to live somewhere nice. But it's on the edge of the hood, but not exactly. So it's just a great fit. So yeah, that's how I got that one. And then I have one in Fort Myers, just waiting for the long-term tenant to move out. It was supposed to be a flip, but Fort Myers got hit with that really bad hurricane. So it turned into a long-term rental. So I was like, oh, okay. So just waiting for them to leave, and that'll probably be a 5-6 bedroom, but it's currently a 4, 1.5.
How much is that renting for long-term?
Oh God, 24.
Yeah, Fort Myers is going to be... So we opened Fort Myers this year. Like, it's a fairly new market for us. It's going to do so well.
Yeah,
there's so much need, demand, not enough inventory because of what you just mentioned between the hurricane. They just need it.
Yeah.
That property's going to perform very well.
Yeah, I agree. The challenge is going to be me trusting, someone else managing it.
Right.
It's so far.
It's far.
It's 3 hours away.
Yeah.
Or more. Look, 3.5 for me.
Yeah,
it's going to do really well, though.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah, we have 2 zip codes in the area that there's active pad splits, and then there's active pad splits in Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, all the way up to kind of Venice, Sarasota. So
yeah,
we have data, and by the time they move out, we'll probably have more data.
I agree.
Right.
Like Southwest Florida is one of those pockets that there's so much opportunity there for a pad split. And we have local investors that are very heavy in that area, and they're working on converting because they have long terms. Really, that's what works best over there over short term.
Right.
And equally, they're waiting for those tenants to kind of move out so they can do a transition. So we're going to have significant amount of inventory there within the next, probably this year.
Yeah. It would have been nice to jump on a lot of those wholesale deals if I had this experience at this stage where I'm at with PadSplit. Oh, you would clean up over there.
Oh, yeah.
Because of hurricane damage, there were so many properties that hit the market.
It was hard.
At really good pricing.
Bro, I agree. There's so many things that we've sold in our wholesale life where I'm just like, I could have PadSplitted this.
I could have. I should have.
Yeah.
But what were you going to say?
What is the biggest takeaway that you've gotten so far through your PadSplit career?
I mean, it's such a short career. I'll tell you, though. So going back to part of one of your questions earlier, I was looking at my numbers. I think I've done about 20 deals that I've acquired or sold that are investments that I've been a part of personally. And I don't know how many wholesale deals. I didn't really keep count of those. That wasn't really my forte. But I've done a bunch of, sub twos and things like that. But I love the fix it, you flip it, and instead of selling it, just being really creative about how you dispose of that property has just been so fascinating, adding PadSplit to the mix. I think the biggest takeaway for me that I love, especially at this point in my life, is that this model is not only a life-changing model for the average American who's really struggling under the tight belt and strain of inflation, is that this model is a wonderful retirement tool. It's just a fascinating retirement tool. I mean, literally, I talk with my wife and sometimes my other friends who are just still on the fence about this. I'm like, guys, you realize like you just need one good property. You pay off the mortgage and you're set. I mean, this is...
While flipping is such an exciting strategy, right? Because it's like that adrenaline rush of like doing the renovation, and that's exciting and fun. Yes, all the headaches that come in between, and that active cash is super exciting, but then it dissipates. Like as soon as you get it, it literally leaves right away through making payments or reinvesting right away to get the next one. So there's really no keeping and building that wealth. But getting wealthy through long-term real estate is hard.
Yeah.
Like profiting $100 per property, That's a hard and a long-term game.
Yeah. And we saw during COVID,
Yes.
that was extremely painful.
Yeah.
Can you imagine all of those owners who were forced to not take rent?
Right.
Because there was a moratorium on you couldn't evict people.
And they didn't have to pay. Yeah, that was hard.
Yeah. That was ridiculous.
I know a lot of people who sold around that time.
Right. And now with PadSplit, you're able to do both things. You can help others and also help yourself.
Exactly.
It's
now,
such a big one.
The one piece of this that's interesting, and I'd love to see how the PadSplit model is affecting this. I saw a post on LinkedIn today about, was it today? I don't know when it was posted, but it was about how PadSplit's trying to effectively address the legalities of rooming houses, because people have been doing this for eons, unofficially.
Forever.
You know, it's just that there's now a name, PadSplit. You know?
Yeah, it's a centralized place.
And so there's a lot of, like in Atlanta, there was a couple of cases about this where, but it was in the wrong neighborhoods. You put it in a HOA, of course it's going to get dinged. Or in a historic district, you know, it's not going to work there. So that's what happened in some neighborhood in Atlanta, and it was on the news. And I think they were trying to find out who the owner, they were trying to subpoena the owner. And I think they tried to subpoena PadSplit executive. I think Atticus was named in the on the news about it. But it'd be really nice to see how they systematize this process so that it's a clean approval process. You can't have zoning get in the way of this, you know. It doesn't make sense.
It's going to be a long-term battle.
Yeah.
And we can only start in our local governments. You know, we got to start local and then we go more nationwide, because every single county, city has different limitations.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to tackle each one by one.
Yeah.
But I've talked about this also with some of my investors that could be on the fence. The government will eventually cannot fight creating a solution.
Exactly.
Like, why would they want to be against a solution that it's hard for the government to also provide?
Exactly.
Because it's not easy.
Right.
So we're helping towards it. I'm sure there's going to be regulations, but there's not going to be a banning of it.
No.
You know, which ultimately will benefit every single person in the equation.
Well, and that's where I think what you guys do is so pivotal and helpful to investors, is the fact, and this is something that I'm offering with people I partner with. You know, you want to take this road, but you're afraid, you don't know what to do, then partner with someone who knows, right, and who's done it before.
Like, I've done it. I took the risk.
Exactly.
I've been there.
Exactly. So, you know, I tell people we can agree to partner together. I haven't figured out that private money thing yet. It's a little difficult. Just over the years, I find it easier to just control what I can control and take the steady road. I'm still going to get to the finish line. It's just not going to be as fast as others. But we'll partner together, or you can hire me to consult with you through the process.
Love it.
Because like in the case of this first property we were talking about in Lakeland, you know, it's on the borderline of not so great areas. It just is. You know, you'll have some derelicts walking up and down those streets looking for spots to score.
I was gonna say that's a bad area. Like, I would feel very comfortable walking down that street. Weirdly enough, like
You would feel comfortable?
It's near the mall.
It is, but
It's near the main road next to the mall.
yes.
Yeah.
But you walk down that street at 7, 8 o'clock at night.
That's
No.
anywhere. I think we live in a good area, and you walk
2 blocks down, and it's
you're
like, oh.
True.
But and it's in Lakeland. I mean, of course, there's places in Lakeland that's I'm sure not safe, like a block in Lakeland, maybe 2. But yeah, I mean, is it working class? Yeah. Is it full of jobs? Yes. Is there a lot of traffic? A lot of foot traffic just off the main road? Definitely.
And I think that's another reality. Our members don't all have vehicles.
They don't.
And it seems unrelatable to us. Because as a Floridian, you're just like, but how do you do this in Florida without a vehicle?
Right.
It happens.
Right.
It's so real. It's just not part of our reality.
That's
But
what makes your house in that location
so
ideally
key.
good.
Mm-hmm.
It's that foot traffic.
Yeah.
So we might be uncomfortable with people walking at 8 p.m. in the street, but that's what it is.
It's getting home from work.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so I was going to say that, some of the neighbors, they sort of know what we're doing. They're not 100% clear, but they don't like it. Right. And so we recently, on top of adding the bedrooms, we painted the inside of the house. We painted the outside of the house. Added some carpet in some spaces, like really beautified the place. And we're very responsive about giving members, bonuses or things that they need.
Love it.
So for example, so before I go to that example, but the neighbor across the street, she goes to one of the members' job. She works at a Goodwill store down the street. And she's like, "Oh, you see they're painting your house. It looks disgusting."
Oh.
It's like, really? It's the best looking house on the block.
I'm sure it is.
It's beautiful. I have to update the picture so I can put it up on PadSplit. But,
what
it's
color did you paint it?
I know, right? Like fuchsia.
I gotta
pink.
I gotta ask. Are you like mango orange or something?
It's zebra,
tropical,
black and white.
I like that.
Stand
out. Why not?
Big bullseye. And I graffitied the word PadSplit.
Yeah.
.com.
We'll go back. We'll fix it. Yeah. Yeah. But, so going back to that idea of zoning, we do keep the limit of cars down. So that's a primary, I feel like, piece that's critical. And then the cameras all around the house. I must have like 5 or 6 cameras out there. So,
exterior cameras?
Yeah.
Yep. I've seen them.
Yeah.
It's on me.
Good.
Huh?
It's on. I
It
saw
sure
it.
saw-
Good.
yeah.
Honestly, even someone that wants to, like a neighbor that's curious and sees a lot of cameras, they're not going to be as comfortable walking to the property with that many cameras around. Like,
exactly.
They're being watched.
Yeah. So that's how I help, in my mind, that whole zoning concern, if it becomes a concern.
And, like, you're doing all the right things. Your property is in great shape.
Yeah.
You're not being the bad neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
The other properties that are not being kept are the ones that are
Right.
standing out. I'm excited and I'm proud of what you've done.
Yeah. No, thank you.
It's really awesome.
Thank you.
We walked his house, and when you think of 9 rooms, you're like, wow, that's crazy. It flows so well.
Long hallways.
It just flows. It has such a good layout of the property that you're just like, oh crap. Wow, this is so well done. And when I first started, I remember having, like, I couldn't conceptualize it in my head. And then I started walking properties. I'm like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, this is wonderful.
No, I
Right?
thank you guys. And I can't thank you guys enough for introducing me to the program a year ago. I wish it was sooner, but
You had
I'll
just
take it.
sold the properties, I remember. I got you like a month or two too late.
But
actually, no, there were other properties. DeLand. Oh, I had a
don't
few
do
in
that.
DeLand.
Don't do that.
I like DeLand as an area, like opinion.
Oh, you like DeLand?
I like
just
DeLand.
like, don't look back. It is
Oh.
what it is. You're already looking towards
I
the
know.
future.
I know.
Like if you're acquiring properties and you're like, hey, I like DeLand and I like Deltona, for example. Like I'm not going to rag on Deltona. Deltona can do well, but I have more faith in DeLand.
Do you?
Yeah. You have a lot more businesses being built out for the school and the community that's in that area. There's a lot more public transit than you would in
True.
Deltona.
Okay.
When they have the college.
And then you're down the street from Daytona, technically.
Yeah.
I feel like Deltona is just so big,
Mhm.
but big for no reason.
Mm.
A lot of
Like,
community within a
Amazon
community.
is
Like
over
you-
there.
But that's why I
but
said it's
that's-
certain areas.
But it's on I-4.
Gotcha.
If you're in Village 48, you probably shouldn't have
Like,
a PadSplit.
Gotcha.
but
Gotcha.
Amazon is like right off of I-4, and Deltona can go like 25, 30 minutes deep in.
Right. Makes sense.
And
And
there's
you're
only
just
like
like,
a
huh?
Walmart in there.
Yeah, you're
good
better
point.
off at DeBerry
Good point.
because it's like right off the exit.
Okay. Okay. This is therapy, so I can just forgive myself for the past and forgive Ray.
Just let it go. Let
That's
it
what I'm
go.
saying. I'm like,
Yeah,
don't
Just
look at the
release me,
past.
bro.
We should just sing that. The Let It Go song.
Oh, I hate that song.
Let
Can
it
we hit
go.
the
No.
no. I'll have to cut that out if it fails.
Cut the mic. Cut the
Oh my
mic. No, that's gonna ruin the audio.
Sorry.
I'm gonna
I
cut
thought
that
it
out.
was like one of the claps or something.
No.
I need to put some names so I can pick the right one.
But bro, okay, so you're on your second pad split. What keeps you grounded, motivated in what you do? Like why are you doing it?
We're big on motivation
Ultimately.
here, this household. So share with us and with our audience. Yeah,
No,
what
that's
drives
cool.
you?
Yeah, it's funny. I look at motivation as something I'm always looking for. It's like, where is it? How do I find it? Where is it at? I'm tired, And I think it goes back to just the idea of retirement and what got me into real estate to begin with. My family. How do I provide for my family? I mean, it's just been such a fortunate blessing that I picked a new career, that I work for myself, and I'm with my kids 100% of the time. So my kid's mom lives close by in the area. My kids are with me 7 days a week, and then they're with her the next 7. But we interchange. It's like we're better parents today than we were before.
That's
Co-parenting is just like a wonderful thing today. The kids don't see any difference. And what drives me is just, I look at my wife. I remarried, and it's been a year. In this relationship, we've been together for 7 years. So she's been with me through my ups and down real estate journey. And so I think that what motivates me is just what's the best passive strategy? Because I don't want to work hard for it. It's like the traditional route of real estate. It's great. It's nice to help people, but people don't always want your help. They want to YouTube University and do it themselves and then discount you for your services and time. So, you can only give people advice, but so many times, right?
It happens to us all the time.
Yeah.
They're like, so should I buy one of those courses that they're selling about PadSplit? I'm like,
no.
Well, I mean, you could, but their information still comes from what I can show you. And I'm not charging you.
Right.
But I think I should. I mean, it's your money.
Right.
We've been
Agreed.
through that.
No, I
We've
go
been
through
through
all the
that so
time.
much. And we're like, you know what? That's
crazy.
fine. It's okay. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because, I mean, I can't imagine Ray coming to me 4 or 5 times and, hey, Trevor, you really should look into this. You really should look into this. And I'm like, nah, I like banging my head against a wall, fighting with contractors and losing out on deals or dealing with tenants who are not paying rent. Like, what? No. Once we talked that first time, I was like, all right, let's go. And then once I was done, I was like, oh, shit, what did I do? When is this house going to fill up?
You go through stages for sure through this process.
Oh, my God.
It's like buying phase, renovation phase, activation phase. Now, the
Stress
real
phase.
keeping up, the day-to-day PadSplit stuff.
Absolutely.
And you can't vomit all that information when you're just having a first-time conversation with an investor that's curious. Like, one at a time.
Yeah, no, totally. And then I'll tell you, we didn't talk about this, but the new model, the 8% model, plus 10 days. I know that Atticus said it, and what you guys promoted, that it's a more financially lucrative model. I wasn't sold. I was like, oh, this isn't going to work, right? I think it's easy for us to get anxiety about the changes and how do you apply those changes so your expenses are still covered. But it's worked out. I signed my new lease early.
Congratulations.
And we're working out the details. You have some really good support people in the background who's there to answer questions. I'm sure that they hate my questions. You guys might be like, oh, why is Trevin texting or emailing again or calling again?
Zero.
Yeah,
Please. Like, that's what we're here for too. Yeah. And I'm glad you're taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of others are going to external sources.
They should.
Which, and okay, that's perfectly fine. Maybe they haven't seen that we have so much value internally that we can, provide. And another caveat to that is like, how much time do we spend time with real people that will take true action versus the curious, non-believers.
Right.
And they just want to poke holes everywhere.
Right.
And we're kind of very jealous with our time that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be.
We want to add so much value, but we need to be wise about who we're choosing to spend our time with.
Absolutely.
That's why I pick up a Trevin phone call in Miami.
He's like, Trevin is calling. I'm like,
She's like, oh, again? Okay, pick it up.
never. It's like, it's going to be a good conversation.
How much does the wife get into the real estate game?
Oh, not enough. Don't go down this road.
Don't
Works full time for Tupperware, and she loves her job.
Damn, she drives to Kissimmee, bro.
Sometimes
remote.
Hunters Creek.
Yeah.
She's remote, but let's face it, that remote concept is going away. You got too much commercial real estate sitting empty. All these companies are behind.
Yeah, they're like, come back to the office, and people are like, no.
Yeah.
Forget that.
It's a problem.
Over my dead body.
Exactly. Yeah. And I tell her all the time, I'm like, okay, you saw what I did. You could do the same. We could replace your income. Like, this isn't rocket science.
You work the numbers backwards. How much are you getting paid? How many properties do you need to get to that paid? And then once you get the properties, then
right. So no, she's not really engaged. She's like, hey, we're partners. I'm like, oh.
Oh, now we are, huh?
Yeah.
I'm the silent partner.
Yeah. I take on the stress and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. When you guys met me, I had an afro. Look at me now.
No, he didn't.
I know, I lie.
Well, I'm glad that you're sharing with the people around you your experiences. And Shane, if you want to do anything with Trevin, investor, real estate agent, like anything, come on. He can answer all your questions.
For sure. Where do you want to focus on moving forward?
What's your 5-year goal with PadSplit? Or outside of PadSplit?
It doesn't have to be PadSplit specific.
Right, outside of PadSplit.
No, I'll tell you. So no, great question. I think that the next 5 years the goal is to expand the rooming house business, the PadSplits. You know, I put out there a year ago, I was like, man, if I had 100 doors, what would that look like? And it's really not a lot of houses.
It's not that
many. Is it 100 doors?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that many houses.
And I'm just like,
it's
what?
about 15 properties.
Yeah.
Between 15 to 20 houses.
It's easily attainable.
Yeah.
The question is, how do you get there, right? So the thought for me is that is the goal, 100 doors. And I'll be at... So the funny thing is my origin, the PadSplit here is, you know, I told you guys I live in Avalon, and I almost sort of have a rooming house scenario because it's multi-generational. You know, my mom is with me now, my uncle, you know, and so I got a garage apartment, you know, you house hack, right?
Yep. Yeah.
It's the same kind of concept, just on a different level. So, you know, with the projects that are underway, we should be at, maybe 23 doors, hopefully soon, in a few months, I guess. So the house in Fort Myers, it'll be next year. But the goal will be, how do I either acquire on my own, continue acquiring on my own, which is obviously a challenge because, you know, you need funds in. Explore products like what we talked about. Do I want to explore HELOCs? I don't know about that, given what we talked about off camera. And or get enough partner deals going. Challenge is now you have to make sure that partner is really on the same page
those
with you.
relationships.
Yeah.
That's another marriage.
It is a marriage. I didn't realize.
It's a marriage.
Oh, it's a marriage.
That's
I tried to divorce my new one. It was like, oh, this isn't that easy. I waved a white flag. I was like, buddy, can we make up?
Let's just hug it out.
Yeah.
It's not as easy.
Yeah, no, not at all. But, you know, profit solves all issues, right?
Of
That's
course.
right.
Everything
It helps
profit.
every
Money
marriage.
talks.
Yeah.
Yep. There's no romance without finance.
I like that.
Yeah. No, that's true.
So,
No, I'm kidding. Okay, so you're trying to get to 100 doors would be your 5-year goal.
Samesies.
Whether it's partnerships, whether it's capital raise, whether it's on your own.
Yep.
Are you looking to create any services around the co-living space?
I am, yeah. So one of the things that I really love a lot is the property management side. I don't know that I'll do it for all, but I will try to do it for all properties. And it's one way in to collaborate with someone. It, you know, give the option. We could partner together, or I can just consult with you, or I could just property manage for you. And we could come up with a strategy where I give you a roadmap and then you fire me. I don't want a long-term hook with anybody. I think that the model we're in today, with everyone doing courses and just hooking people in for monthly payments, I don't like that. I think we should teach people to fish.
Yep.
And then let them go. You know, similar to what you guys offer. You help people with a service, and then you watch them grow. So I want to be able to offer, a couple of options for folks to collaborate with me, and then send them off. I don't want a long-term marriage.
Let's date a little.
Yeah, let's date a little bit.
It's a good time, not a long
there.
time.
Yeah. And I'll probably still, sell real estate. I traditionally have spent more of my time the last 3 years listing properties, because I've worked, I used to work with OfferPad. So I do a lot of deals with the cash offer investor, larger national companies. And so I'd love to just keep doing that. And that's a form of wholesaling in a way. I don't like the term personally. I just think YouTube University has everybody and their mother and their kids doing it now.
Yep.
And it's just easy to steal value from people's property. I don't want, I think that integrity wise, I want to feel good about my profit, and I want to feel good about the deal you're getting as well. So yeah.
Love it.
How do people, if they want to reach you for the services that you do provide, whether it's listing or buying or partnering, how do we get in contact with you? How do we reach out to you? How would you like to be reached out to?
How can others get a hold of you?
On Instagram, I'm at Trevin Sells Homes. So, and on Facebook, Trevin Perez Homes. And my email address is trevinperezhomes@gmail.com.
Okay.
So pretty easy to find me online, being a realtor.
And a realtor that understands PadSplits.
Yeah, I love it.
Investments.
You have another niche on your belt.
Yeah.
We find it hard to find realtors that understand the investment world.
Really? To this day still?
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be shocked. We need more agents that can help people find more PadSplit properties.
That understand, because you can find an investment property doesn't mean that you know how to underwrite a property for an investor.
That's true. And I was going to say, that's the other thing. I'm listed as a real estate vendor on PadSplit's website.
Let's go.
Go to Trevin, please. And you service which markets?
All of Central Florida at this point. Do you
go out to Tampa? Do you go out to Daytona?
It's so funny. My partner we've been looking at Daytona a little bit more seriously now. I think I'll go as far as Plant City for Tampa, that I've been looking into. It seems like we have a big presence for PadSplit over there in Plant City.
Plant City does good.
My guy in Tampa has a couple out there.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, just a couple. Yeah. Right. I see the pricing on the market. I'm like, oh, yeah.
He's definitely out there.
He is.
Got to get him on the show. But yeah, I mean, so as far as Plant City and then out on the other direction.
Daytona.
To Daytona?
Yeah, as far as Daytona.
Daytona's not bad, especially not for you.
That's a good Central Florida.
Exactly.
And you're right off of 528, so you get to Cocoa fairly easy.
Yep.
And like between Tampa and Orlando, that's still Central Florida. Like, we're going to become one.
It makes sense. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
With Lakeland in the middle, like, we're just going to fuse.
Orlando's grown that direction already.
Yeah.
Just going to fuse.
Do you have a presence in Cocoa?
We probably had Cocoa properties first before we had a Daytona property.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we do.
Cocoa has opportunity.
Yeah, with SpaceX and all that, and government agencies and government contracts. Palm Bay, Cocoa, they're just blowing up.
Exactly.
Blowing up.
Yeah, there's some PadSplits. There's some PadSplits coming up, and there's a lot of jobs that are out there. So,
all right, Trevin, what are you going to tell an investor that is on the fence about PadSplit? And
Yeah, so my elevator pitch to an investor about PadSplit is simply, if you want to earn 20% return on your investment with in a passive manner, that has the ability to appreciate beyond the property value appreciation. But now once it's fully booked and it's earning that 20% profit over any of your expenses, you should come seriously talk to Ray or Orianna or talk to someone like myself, because 20% is just the baseline. I mean, the numbers are ridiculous how profitable this model is. You're a fool to not pursue this yesterday, because with prices going up on properties, you're missing out.
Correct.
You can take a burned property at this point or a flooded property and still really make major improvements. And oh, by the way, you're going to improve the neighborhood and the community. Mm-hmm. So no, there's no reason to be on the fence at all. Same for a realtor. I mean, don't pay for a course or an investor. Just talk to the resources that are available.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate you having.
Well, thank you for being here.
We appreciate you being here. Of course, you took time to sit on our yellow couch, orangey couch.
I'm like, it's kind of orange.
It is orange, isn't it? It's not as yellow, but we appreciate you having. I can't speak for the life of me right now.
I know. What's in that coffee?
I don't know. What did you put in there, bro? Restraining order back on. Gotta call the judge. But no, we had fun having you here. We obviously want to do probably another one down the line to kind of catch up with you, but I'm happy for the value you're able to add to the people that are watching and the lessons that, obviously they'll be able to get from you. And then also you participating, because it takes participation to even get onto a point where you're vulnerable enough to invest into this concept.
Agreed. Agreed. No, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning into the Co-Living with PadSplit podcast hosted by Ray and Orianna Nunez. For more exclusive content and community updates, join our Facebook group and follow us on all social media platforms. Stay tuned for more episodes.